Whenever you think you're not good enough or I'm not an expert enough, it's hindering you from pushing past a boundary that you've never explored. And it's scary, but it's so worth it for yourself, not for the person on the other side, which of course you'll give value and your love for whatever it is you have, but it's for you mostly.
If you clicked on this video, there's a high likelihood that you have not been posting videos. Don't worry, I'm not going to shame you. Today, we are going to go all in when we talk about the beliefs that we have when it comes to why we're not posting videos. And we're going to be sitting down with Jordyn Perez from the Think Media team, who just started her channel and is now at 1,000 subscribers. It wasn't easy, but we're going to dive into the belief systems, self-doubt, and imposter syndrome on today's episode of the Think Media podcast. If you're brand new to this podcast, my name is Heather Torres, and every single Tuesday, we post a brand new podcast episode for you. So if you like content like this, make sure you subscribe wherever you consume this type of content. Now, today's interview is probably one of my favorites, not because we're just talking about one of my favorite subjects, which is overcoming self-doubt, starting messy, and pressing record, but because we're sitting down with my friend, Jordyn Perez. She's part of our Think Media team here. She's also a working full-time homeschool mom of 3 kids, and she is crushing her YouTube channel. She just got to 1,000 subscribers and she is being monetized now. And I cannot wait to talk about the limiting beliefs that she had and that I had when we got started. So grab your journal, grab your cup of coffee, and let's jump into today's episode. Well, I am excited about today's interview because I'm sitting down with Jordyn Perez. She's one of my good friends and a Think Media team member. Jordyn, welcome to the Think Media podcast.
Thank you. It's really exciting to be here.
I am excited because you have been creating on YouTube for about a year now, and you started your channel. You're over 1,000 subscribers. Congratulations. And I wanted to talk about some of the self-doubts, some of the myths that come around starting a YouTube channel. It's not easy to do that. And you and I actually just got done doing some focus groups with our Video Ranking Academy members. And we were asking them questions about how they got started, what were some of the fears that were holding them back. So I thought maybe you and I could unpack that today. So why don't you tell everyone how you got started on your own YouTube channel?
So the way I got started on this YouTube journey was, of course, I work on a team where everybody does YouTube. So it was encouraging, but also extremely scary to get started. And so with the encouragement of my team, my husband, and just a passion that I had, I decided to take the plunge and get my channel started.
Yeah. And, here at Think Media, we're actually a team of 13 full-time people. And some of us are front-facing, like myself and Sean and Omar and Nolan. And some of us are behind the scenes. So getting started and putting yourself out on camera probably wasn't the first choice or the first thing that you wanted to do.
No. That is my place behind the camera is exactly where I want to be. So doing this was a huge challenge for me.
Now, we didn't force you to start a YouTube channel, Jordyn, but we were definitely encouraging you because you have a lot of skills and a lot of talents. Tell everyone kind of how you chose what you chose. You have an amazing YouTube channel all about charcuterie boards. Why did you choose that?
I chose charcuterie boards because it was a list of ideas and passions that I had, but what I really wanted to do was not have anything forced, because I know that if it was forced, I wouldn't be all in on it. And so it was just being more self-aware every day of what I was doing, what I was enjoying, what sparked joy in my heart. And that, crazy enough, is meat and cheese and serving it to friends, family, eating it by myself in my kitchen. In between meetings, that is what I did. So I knew that, hey, I can do this. And when you have that spark of, I can do this, that's when I knew, just go for it. Just try.
Yeah, and I would say that your cheese boards and your meat boards are to die for. They're so good. Now, I have told people here on the podcast before, I waited 3 years before I got started on YouTube. I had a lot of beliefs about myself and really lack of self-confidence. And I'm not really the Heather I am today that I was back then when I got started. But I've been doing this a while. I've pumped out hundreds of videos now. So this is more natural for me. But for you and for the Video Ranking Academy members that we were interviewing, there were a lot of self-doubt and beliefs that we had about ourselves when it came to getting started on videos. And one of those was, I don't really know how to do this, right? Like, we didn't grow up, you and I weren't the techie people in school. Like, understanding how smartphones and cameras and audio and video and all of that wasn't where my passion was. And so getting started on YouTube, I really had that, like, I don't know how to do this feeling.
Mm-hmm. I think it's funny you say iPhones, because the reality is we get an iPhone, we don't open up the instruction manual. We just literally open it up, start it up, and just start playing around. Mm-hmm. And really, that's exactly what I felt like I was doing with YouTube, is that sure, I had the instructions, sure, I had Heather and Sean to guide me, but at the same time, I knew I needed to just go in, do it for myself, try, test, whatever it looked like, and just be okay with going for it.
Yeah. And I think one of those beliefs about, like, well, I don't know how. Man, we have an entire online university at Think Media to help people learn how to do it. And I think for me specifically, Omar and I have had lots of conversations about what iOS means and what aperture means. And there just always seems to be this block of, well, I just don't know what that is. And honestly, it really is just the idea that I haven't prioritized learning how to do those things and learning those things because it didn't feel important enough to me.
Right. Absolutely. And I think that's what I loved about getting started, making that first video and realizing, oh, okay, wait a minute. I actually do have to learn exactly how to tag and title and descriptions and all of those things. And so it's not having this huge weight of pressure, but knowing where to find your education from and then pursuing it one step at a time, applying it each time, which is what Sean always says, to just apply what you've learned and just keep going.
Yeah, when I look at even your videos, you're over 20 videos in, probably over 30 by the time this podcast comes out. And every video, it's just getting 1% better, learning one new thing. Oh, if I angle the camera this way, oh, if I change the lighting this way, that it looks different. And I think one of the things that people struggle with is that idea of being able to just practice in public and just being okay with it not being okay.
Right. It's very difficult to practice in public, not only with just out in the world of YouTube, but around your peers, around your family. It's very challenging to step foot into those unknowns of what they might think or say to you, but it's so worth it. It's so worth taking that step.
Yeah, and really, when we were talking to our members, another one that came up was, who am I to be doing this? I'm not an expert in anything. And mind you, I did not go to school for teaching. I did not go to school for, learning how to do YouTube. I didn't go to school even to become a homeschool mom, for my homeschool channel. But, and you did you go to culinary school, Jordyn? Okay. No. Just making sure.
Yes, no.
But this idea of, who am I to be doing this? This idea that we really talk ourselves down for who we are and the gifts and talents that we have been gifted.
Yeah, it's very much that imposter syndrome, and it's so real because I think the same thing. Who am I to tell you what cheese goes with what meat? Like, it's just my taste, and they're not that elegant. And unfortunately, that can hold us back from actually just sharing who we are. So really, I try to think of when I'm sharing these videos, it's from my perspective, not from an expert's perspective. It's just, hey, I love it. You might like this. Try it out. And so it's understanding that it's okay to test the waters, and you can do this. It's okay to not be an expert at it.
Yeah, when I teach on stage about imposter syndrome, for me, I really teach people that, we think that we only know 10% and that someone's going to find out that we don't know everything. And let me just tell you, you probably don't know everything, but neither does anyone else. And so the idea that if you are deep into meats and cheeses like Jordyn, if you are really into running or you're really into gaming, you are probably already an expert in some capacity. Let me tell you, when I go to the grocery store, which I don't even like to do, Jordyn, so there's number one where I can't even connect in that. But number two, I wouldn't know if this cheddar goes with this meat, but you're so deep in researching it and knowing it that you're not an imposter. You're just a friend on the journey. You're a leader in this space. You're just a guide 1 or 2 steps ahead. And so the idea of like, who am I to be doing this feels like a shrinking. And I want people to kind of like step out and say, no, I'm here. I want to be a part of this community. I want to contribute in my own way. And I think that's something that you've done so well, is that you're not like anyone else. You're really just doing it Jordyn's way.
Right. And it's all that mindset and belief system. And it's so true, that feeling of shrinking in. It's literally that feeling that you just can't express with words. And so whenever you think you're not good enough or I'm not an expert enough, it's hindering you from pushing past a boundary that you've never explored. And it's scary, but it's so worth it for yourself, not for the person on the other side, which of course you'll give value and your love for whatever it is you have, but it's for you mostly.
Yeah. I think the last one is really, I'm not ready. That was a big theme. You know, when we interviewed people, they'd taken the courses, they had watched the videos, they had come to the conferences, and yet they still hadn't started the channel. And I think that holds so much in that, you know, I'm not ready really is this idea of, what if this fails? What if I have to do this in front of my friends and it doesn't work? What if what if I miss out on opportunities, or, what if this fails? And I just love to encourage people and say, what if it's the opposite? Like, what if this succeeds? Like, what if your charcuterie channel, Jordyn, literally becomes the next Rachel Ray? We don't know. But unless you take that step and you just go for imperfection and you just know that everything is figure outable, you won't actually know if this is going to be a thing.
Yeah, it's very real for me to just remember when I started of not feeling ready and wanting to make sure my kitchen looked perfect, my hair was perfect, that I had to pretend and put on this facade, and I just remember it blocking me every time before I press record. So my first video that I have is horrible, but that's because I let go of all those ideas. I made peace with the fact that I'm not going to be happy with this, but I'm going to do it anyway. And so it's finding peace within yourself to then press record and release it, and then start all over.
Yeah, every day, new video.
Yeah.
And it really is just about starting messy, right? And I love how you just touched on that. It's like, so your kitchen's not perfect, but guess what? It looks like 90% of other people's kitchens. It's the idea that, my homeschool doesn't look perfect, and that's okay, because that's what most families look like, that the things we're doing are like most families. And so I just want to encourage you, if you're listening to the podcast right now and you've not started your channel, today's the day, my friend. It is time for you to step up, to go to Think Media if you need help on how, to set up the lighting or do the camera, but really don't even have all that as the first part of it. Just make a video. Just say how to do something. Teach someone something. Get the video camera in front of you, because you're going to need to start creating a lot of content to start feeling natural and for this to feel more normal for people. So Jordyn, if people are interested in checking out your channel, you just got past 1,000 subscribers, they want to see what it's like to be an iPhone creator, where can they go?
They can go to Amazing Grace Boards on YouTube and find me there and all my amazing videos for charcuterie.
Yes, and this is actually a part of a 3-part series. So if you didn't check out our interview over on Think Media, where Jordyn and I talk about getting to your first 1,000 subscribers, make sure you check out that video. And then if you have not seen the way that Jordyn creates her videos, we walked through her setup, how simple a setup can be and how easy it can be to get to that 1,000 subscribers with just using your iPhone. Well, I hope you enjoyed that interview with myself and Jordyn, and make sure you check out our channel, give her some love, let her know you are from the podcast. But I just wanted to encourage you one more time that there is no better day to start than today. So grab your iPhone, grab what you have, and just get started. This journey on YouTube, it will not happen overnight, but it won't happen unless you get started. So if you're feeling the imposter syndrome, or you don't know how, or why me, you can do this. if I can do this and Jordyn can do this, you can do this too. And I want to say thank you so much for all of the listeners who tune in every single week for this Tuesday ritual that we have here on the podcast. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing and for leaving your reviews over on Apple. Today's review actually comes from Alti1308. Alti says, YouTube geniuses. Wow. Thank you so much for that compliment. She says, I love the Think team's passion, knowledge, and I could name so many more things. The effort and value they bring every week is incredible. Thank you, Think team. Well, Alti1308, thank you for being a part of our Think crew. I've been calling you guys that lately because that's what I think you are. We are all in this together. We're a crew on this journey together. We're action takers and we are trying to create and make an impact in the world. So thank you so much for rating and reviewing today's podcast. And if you've not checked out our free masterclass, that's probably your next step after today's episode. You'll learn the 3 secrets to YouTube success and how to create a high impact and a high profit YouTube channel. You can get all the details at thinkmasterclass.com. Thank you so much for being a part of our community here, and we'll catch you in the next episode.